Yeah, you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. Yeah, I'm going there today. Real bad things can happen to you on a cruise ship. I'm just not going to fanboy it. I'm going to give you the truth, and I'm not going to give you one of these BS lists that everybody's got on their blog. Real bad things can happen to you on a cruise. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Cruise News Show. I'm your host, Tony, here with a special edition pointing out the bad things that can happen to you on a cruise ship. Now, as I said in the intro, this isn't going to be one of those list of things that will probably never, ever happen to you on a cruise ship. Yeah, there's 1,000 of the same list out there. Did you know that the cruise ship could get attacked by pirates? It could. It's happened. But it ain't happening to the millions of people that go cruising. I mean, it's going to happen to somebody, but the likelihood of that happening to you is near zero. Do you know that people fall off of cruise ships or jump off of cruise ships? Yes, that happens, but that's probably not a bad thing that's going to happen to you. Cruise ships sink, right? Occasionally, infrequently. That's not going to happen to most of us. Like I said, these are the BS lists of real bad things that are going to happen to you on the cruise ship. On the contrary, I've got a list for you of things, of real things that could happen to you on a cruise ship that are bad. How about that? Should we put it in that vernacular? Number one, and these are in no particular order. I'll try to associate them where I can. Number one, there is a great likelihood that there will be some problem with your bill. That's bad. I mean, it ain't the ship sinking bad, but it's bad. And if you go on any cruise, you notice that the line at customer service is extensive. And that's because on almost every cruise, multiple people have trouble with their bill. Number two on the list is you may struggle to find a deck chair. If you're somebody that likes to go out and lay out in the sun, you are now a part of this Hunger Games type atmosphere to make sure that you can get the deck chair that you want. People will go to great lengths. They'll get up early. They'll build a fort around a deck chair. That if you're just like late to the game coming out on the sea day at 1 p.m. thinking you're going to get a primo spot in the sun on the Lido deck, well, you are misinformed. You will have a bad day. Another bad thing that most likely will happen on the cruise ship is you're going to get upsold. I mean, unless you're one of those people that like to be upsold, if you like to just be sitting there enjoying your dinner, having a cool conversation around dessert, and now, you know, somebody with a tray full of shot glasses are like, wouldn't you like to get the shot glass? Wouldn't you like it? No, I'm just having a conversation here. I like to have that conversation. You sure you don't want the shot glass? You know, you want the drink of the day? You want a picture package? No, I just want to enjoy my meal. So unless you enjoy being upsold, that's a bad thing that happens on a cruise ship to everybody, I think. And just so I don't get accused of being completely negative on today's show, let me tell you something positive. There is a way that you can be notified every time that I upload a video. And the way that you do that is by being a subscriber to this channel with the notification bell on. Let me invite you to do that right now. Be a part of this virtual cruising community. Thanks in advance. Another bad thing that's going to happen to many of us on a cruise ship is we're going to run out of clothes. Now, I know some people are overpackers. They never run out of clothes. There's clothes they never wear. I guess that could be another bad thing. But for many of us, we pack light. And sometimes you pack clothes that you shouldn't even pack. Like it's a shirt you haven't worn in 10 years. And all of a sudden, you're finding yourself on day 3 of the cruise going, maybe I'll just put on my favorite t-shirt again. Yeah, but didn't you wear that t-shirt already twice? Yeah, but I sure don't want to wear that shirt that I brought that I don't ever wear. I just want to wear my favorite t-shirt. That could be something bad that only happens to me, but I don't think I'm alone in that. I would love to hear, do you end up wearing your favorite clothes over and over on the cruise ship? I do. How about this? Have you ever gotten bad service on a cruise? I would say the totality of the cruise service that I've gotten has been, good to great. But there's a few outliers. There's some bad service. At least every cruise I've run into at least one circumstance where I thought I could have got a little better service for my money. It's almost impossible. You're going to be somewhere for a week with a variety of people taking care of you, and everybody has a bad day, and eventually you're going to run into some bad service. This bad thing's happened to me on a few cruises. I've got sunburnt. That's a reality. Even though I bring the sunscreen and I apply it, you just can't beat back the sun sometimes. You just can't win that battle between your fair skinnedness and the cooking power of the sun, and you end up a little sunburnt. Now, this is going to happen to most of you unless you go on a cruise where this isn't a possibility, but you will most likely hear some sort of screaming kid at some point on a cruise. You don't know where it's going to come from. You don't know when to expect it. But out of nowhere, boom, you get a screaming, crying kid. That's what it's like when you cruise with families. I hold nothing against it. But yeah, you know how it is. Nobody wants to hear a kid scream. Like, you can barely, I think most people can tolerate their own kids screaming. Like, you have a immunity built up for that. But random kids screaming, I think even the most compassionate person's like, man, could you get that kid to, yeah. That's a reality on a cruise ship, unless it's an adults-only cruise. I think many of us would agree that another bad thing that could happen on a cruise is something's wrong with your cabin. From a minor thing like the remote doesn't work for your TV, or the toilet's not draining, or the whole roof caves in and water fills your cabin. I think we've all had that circumstance, or one of those circumstances. And you might be one of the lucky people on a cruise that there's nothing wrong with your cabin. But on every cruise, at least somebody on that cruise ship has a problem with something in their cruise cabin. Reference the line at customer service that I mentioned before. Another bad thing that happens on most cruises, I would think, is you're going to run into sometimes a language barrier. Whether it's with other passengers or whether it's with a crew member, you can't avoid it. When you, like, even if you were talking about people that speak English from different parts of the United States, you're going to talk to somebody where you're looking at them real hard, trying to follow what their mouth is saying just to make sure that you understand what they're saying. And yeah, that's part of the cruise life. I think it's a positive part of the cruise life that you get this diversity of crew and passenger and people from all over the world. But one of the bad things about that diversity is navigating the language barrier. And I would think most people could think of one instance where they didn't quite understand maybe what the person was saying. How about this? Missing an event. Have you ever had an instance where you really wanted to do something and you missed it? Not because you didn't want to go to it, just because that cruise life got in the way. Maybe you slept too long. Maybe you went to another event that ran over. Just something that you wanted to do that you just didn't get to do. You just didn't have enough time. You didn't have enough energy. It happens, and it speaks to something very positive. It speaks to the fact that there's so much to do on a cruise ship for so many different kind of interests that most of the time you will have the desire to do more things than you can actually do. Another real bad thing that happens on cruises is most of the time you just have okay food. Like, you don't have food that blows your mind. Like, if you're going and you're just getting the included food, the MDR, the buffet, whatever included food there is, that food's okay. Again, it's nothing you're writing home about. You might have a banger meal every once in a while, something that just blows your mind in the MDR. But for the most part, you realize that over a 7-day period, this is a lot of food that's being produced for a large quantity of people. And when you're producing food for a large quantity of people, sometimes you sacrifice the quality of that. I'm not saying any of this food is bad. I'm just saying a lot of times you're going to run into food it's just okay. You would love it if every meal that you had just blew your mind and that you had to take a nap afterwards and recover from the ecstasy of the food, but it's just not true. Another real bad thing that happens on a cruise ship is you got to interact with strangers. Now, that may not be a real bad thing for everybody, but it depends on the stranger. Am I right? Some strangers are great to interact with. Some strangers are just annoying that you can't wait to get away from. But what is for certain is it is very hard to avoid stranger interaction on a cruise ship. Building on the stranger theme, another thing that happens on cruise ship is you have to be around annoyed people. you're going to find somebody that's annoyed about the customer service. You're going to find somebody that's annoyed with their significant other. You're going to find somebody that's annoyed with, the dress code. And you can't avoid them. A lot of people, they don't have the social skills to hide their annoyance in public. And so their annoyance is your annoyance. And that may make you annoyed. And so, yes, I don't know if we should say a bad thing on the cruise is the people, but I don't think that. I mean, you're going to meet some wonderful people also. But yeah, you're going to have to deal with annoyed people. And I guess another bad thing is at some point you will probably be annoyed. I cannot think of any of my cruises where I didn't have at least some minor moment of annoyance where I maybe argued with my spouse. As lovely as she is and as great as we are together, we do get annoyed with each other. It seems like that happens on a cruise ship, or annoyed with other people. So yeah, that's annoyance. People. That's bad. Another bad thing that happens frequently on a cruise ship is your conversation gets interrupted by an announcement. You might be having a conversation there with somebody in the Royal Promenade, somebody you know, some stranger, and then the voice of God booms out so loud telling you about the tender departure that you don't even remember what you're talking about. And certainly this next one will happen to you on a cruise ship, and it's bad. You will wait in line. I hate waiting in line. I'm going to rapid fire a few real bad things that happen on cruises that don't really need much explanation. Somebody will touch your food, somebody will cut you in line, and somebody will talk during the theater performance. Hey, that's the real legit things that'll probably happen to a lot of people on a cruise ship. Again, not the BS get attacked by a giant squid or a rogue wave, not that list. I would love to hear, have any of those things happen to you? What's something else bad that's real that could happen on a cruise ship? Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching the show today. Little departure. I hope you enjoyed it. Please show your support by hitting the like button. This is Tony with Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.